Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Inky Finker Cat, back with another scrapbook process video. Now, the last video I filmed before I filmed this one was doing a scrapbook page kit from Hey Little Magpie using these papers, and these are the little bits of leftovers. So, in true Catherine fashion, I thought we'd do another video, another page, just using as much of these scraps that we can. And I do a good job. There's not very much left at the very end. But this is all totally like I had a general idea of layering them, putting them in the middle. And then, as you will see, things changed as they went along. Also added in lots of bits and pieces from the 49th and Market spice kit as well, which I did last time as well. But yeah, I started with this stencil from Vicky Boutin, which is, nope, can't remember what it's called, but it's kind of like diamond shapes, and just used some ink that was already on the brush, so I didn't even re-ink it, to add that little bit of shade in the background, and then added some little splattered brown ink. So I am just grabbing bits and pieces that are on the desk, so including this like ropey, woolly type twine thing that I don't end up using. There was a little scrap of cardstock that I thought would work with the colours in the kit. And yeah, I'm just playing. I decided I wanted a bit of separation between the two patterns there, so I've just added in a layer of white cardstock and torn it so it's a similar sort of torn edge. And yeah, as usual, struggling with the ATG. It was at the end of a roll, so it didn't last the entire page. I had to resort to some double-sided normal sticky at one point. So anyway, the kit, as I said, was from Hey Little Magpie, that Sarah designed a page. So I'm going to pop in a little picture now of the original page that I made. So that's the page that I made using the original kit and the layout that Sarah designed. And then this is me just using leftovers. So you can see there I've added in the spice bits and pieces from 49th Market that were, again, still on the desk from the other page. So I'm just layering up bits and pieces like those little frames that obviously are different size from the photo. So I'm just making it up as I go along, as I do. So it looks like there's lots of little layers and stuff behind it. I enjoyed doing that kind of, making it up, you know. I liked that orange piece, but I didn't want a full block, so I decided to just turn it into a tab, and then you'll see later on I do end up using the other half of it as well. So you can see here, whilst I'm waiting for those splatters to dry, I've basically just taken this central piece and I'm just building it up without it being stuck onto the page, because I know I want it sort of like as this, as I say, central feature. It ends up not quite being central, but you'll see what I do with it in the end. So I'm just pulling out bits and pieces that I think will work. You might have seen that it sort of just suddenly slightly changed angle. That was because I had to use my phone that I was filming on to go and just double check when was the photo taken. So the photo was taken actually in April. So even though I'm using all autumn themed colours and all the rest of it, because there's no leaves on the tree that's behind us, I wasn't entirely sure when it was that I'd taken the picture, but it turns out it was in April. So not autumn at all. But I had to go and check before I started bringing the word autumn on any of those pieces. So here you can see I have gone and grabbed that sheet of rub-ons, or the bits of the rub-ons that are left over from the original kit. There isn't much of them left, but there's just enough to add a few little bits and pieces into the page. So this one, I wanted it so it went over the top of something, so I needed it to be on white, so I've just grabbed that white cardstock that was left over as scrap and I've rubbed it onto that and then fussy cutting it out. Whereas the other rub-ons I do put directly onto the background, just around the outside. So at this point I've sort of changed my mind about where I want it, and at this point I've sort of now created an additional cluster up at the top right. But you'll see again things change, and it ends up being that cluster is actually at the bottom left. I just wasn't happy with where I'd put my leaves, and I made a bit of a mess up. Anyway, I changed it round and it works fine. So the main panels is sort of more top right, and then there's the cluster down at the bottom left hand side as well, which I know is off camera. I really need to sort out camera angles, and when I'm making, I sort of totally forget that the camera's on, and so forget that I have like gone off to the bottom left hand side. So I really do need to do better at setting up my camera before I start filming. I'm really sorry about this. But you'll see it on the final thing. At the bottom, there's just a cluster with some bits and pieces. So this is the point where my ATG has now totally run out. I've added in the all the rub-ons that I had, and now I'm having a little play through my ribbons drawer, and I found this sort of like tape measure ribbon, and I just thought it sort of went with the colours, so I've added a snippet of that in. But really what I was looking for was some string that was in a brown colour, which I found. So back to the photo. So the photo is actually from April. I need to just double check the year because I don't think I actually had that on to the journaling, so I do need to add that. But I think it was 2021 or 2022. It was actually pre me getting my current phone, so I had to go back and scroll on Instagram to try and find when was it. I knew exactly where it was, but I just couldn't remember when it was. And we'd basically gone up to Dun and Massey, which is like a national trust park that's not far from us. And in fact, the day I am filming this is the day that we also go for Christmas. We went for the Christmas lights this year as well, so hopefully there'll be some future scrapbook pages with some of those pictures on. But yeah, just the three of us went for a walk. It was a nice sunny day, but possibly a bit chilly looking at our clothing, but in the sun it was obviously warm because I've undone my coat. So yeah, not much to say other than it is something that we love to do. Go for a wander around Dun and Massey, go and look at the deer. So I have quite a lot of scrapbook pages that are from Dun and Massey, just because we really enjoy going there. Probably go 2-3 times a year. Not quite enough to justify a National Trust membership, but we're almost getting there. So maybe this year will be the year that we actually end up doing that. So I fiddled around with some ribbon to wrap around those sort of orange loops, the sort of circle things that are up on little foam tape. I did add both the moth that's to the left-hand side and the floral element that's at the top right. I did add that up on foam tape as well to give some dimension. And then this final bit is me just fiddling with two little buttons, again from that kit in the green, where I'm just adding a little bit of embroidery floss through because I don't like a naked button. And it just took me a little while to fiddle with those and then glue them into place. And then I called it done. So I've added my journaling along the bottom of the block, the main block. I used a sort of orange pen to do that, so it tied it in with the page and all of the elements added. And that was me having used up all of the leftovers from that page kit. So I really like this. I like the fact that it got the sort of like, I ended up creating an additional cluster down in the bottom. That was fun. And I love all of the colours that I've used in the page. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to see more. Until next time, bye bye.